get it back.
Not at him!
Firstly, you are most welcome.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. Naona tatu tu.
The jumper is about to hit the ground just behind the parade. And there it is. An applause for this jumper. And he lands successfully on his feet.
The Honorable all the gift, the IGP, the resident city commissioners, and chairman of the East African Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency Dr. Ruto is accompanied by his First Lady, the First Lady of Kenya, Mrs. Rachel Ruto. His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, Government Business, Empowerment, and Minister without Portfolio of Democratic Republic of Congo. Yes. Honorable Colonel 6 senior officers. Mr. Michel J. Mr. Arnold Roget is also a special guest. Buledi Administrator is also a special. A declaration of African independence, and ladies and gentlemen, please join me to thank the Almighty God for stability. We now.
Africa remains the last global economic frontier with untapped potential in both human and natural resources. This theme calls upon us to dedicate ourselves to the task of pursuing ideals of Pan-Africanism, such as strengthening inter-regional trade and cooperation within our borders. It is only through this that we can achieve our objective of economic prosperity in East Africa and across the continent. As Africans, this must be our century to uplift our people out of the abject poverty, chronic diseases, and ignorance. Guided by our common values and interests to effectively determine our shared destiny, we must strive to build a better future for the next generations and collectively overcome the patronizing foreign control of our affairs. Finally, Your Excellency, I urge my counterparts within the East African community to join hands and work together for the common good of all Africans. I wish you all a happy 60th anniversary celebrations. Thank you all, and may God bless Uganda.
Burundi is historic. and a strong brotherhood with Uganda is of inestimable value to our respective people, and we are honored and happy to join you as you celebrate 60 years of independence. Burundians will never forget the contribution you made for the return of peace, stability, and democracy in Burundi as chairperson of regional initiative. Thank you again, Your Excellency, for your wise contribution to establish peace in the region. We Burundian people and East African people, we boast of having you as a sage of the region. Your Excellency, in this highly symbolic commemoration, my dearest wish is to see a reintegrated East Africa and a united Africa. And this can only be reached when we are economically, culturally, politically independent and stable. It is high time we strengthen our regional integration and build a more prosperous and powerful East African community having one market and one voice. This is our ultimate goal as East African, realizing the political federation.
Uganda is a land blessed with human capital, natural resources, and a spirit of success which radiates from the people of Uganda. In this regard, I, on behalf of myself and the Somali government and its people, sincerely congratulate the government and the people of Uganda on the hard-won 60th independence anniversary. Since independence, Somalia and Uganda have been strong allies with a shared agenda and ambition for sustainable development. Our two nations not only share a rich history, but a future of common opportunities which we are determined to benefit from the betterment of our two peoples. Our partnership for progress started before the independence of our two nations. Somalia stood by Uganda's independence, and these bonds of friendship broadly continued after the struggle of the independence. Today, Somalia and Uganda face a common enemy in international terrorism. On the security front, Somalia and Uganda and all other troop-contributing countries are laying the foundation for a secure, progressive, and prosperous Somalia and the wider region by actively supporting our government's effort to annihilate Al-Shabaab once and for all. We Somalis are deeply conscious of your country's relentless contribution towards our peace building and commemorate those sacrifices with our commitment to peace and prosperous future for generations to come in Somalia.
Naleta salamu za pongezi kutoka kwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan, kwako Mheshimiwa Rais Museveni, na kwa wananchi wote wa Uganda. Anakupeni pongezi kubwa sana kwa kuadhimisha siku hii. Aidha, nimesimama hapa kuleta salamu za upendo kutoka kwa wananchi wa Tanzania kwa ndugu zao wananchi wa Uganda kwa kuadhimisha miaka 60 ya uhuru, lakini vile vile kwa kupiga hatua kubwa ya kimaendeleo katika uchumi na kijamii katika kipindi hichi cha miaka 60 ya uhuru. Hongereni sana na kupeni salamu za wananchi ndugu zenu kutoka Tanzania. Your Excellencies, our two countries are undertaking many joint projects in various fields, notably in the energy and transport sectors. Among those projects is the construction of the East African crude oil pipeline from Hoima, Uganda to Tanga, Tanzania, which is expected to be the longest heated oil pipeline in the world. When completed, this project will not only boost the economy of our two countries, but also create employment, knowledge transfer, skills development, and unlock East African oil potential by attracting investment and improve the livelihoods of our people, improve the livelihoods of the people of our two countries and the region as a whole. Therefore, I urge the private sector from both countries to take lead in this mega project. Doing so, the private sector will employ our people and bring better life to our communities. In this regard, Tanzania and Uganda should not be deterred by any condemnations made against the project, which are based on misinformation. We should instead remain steadfast in implementing these strategic projects, which will bring huge benefits, not only to our two countries, but the whole East African region.
Ideology, we discovered that in order to create prosperity for our people through the production and sale of goods and services, we need to emphasize the four principles. And these are the principles of patriotism, loving Uganda, Pan-Africanism, loving Africa, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. In order to use our understanding of philosophy and our ideology to create prosperity for our people, we evolved a strategy of 10 points program. Point number 5 of that program read as follows, in quotes, building an independent, integrated, and self-sustaining national economy, end of quotes. By that time, we had already discovered that one of Africa's problems has been the curse of confining itself to the export of raw materials, where we always get less than 10% of the actual value of the end product out of those raw materials, and the resultant loss of jobs to the cleverer-led outsiders. The outsiders are better led. They take our raw materials, they get more money out of them, and create jobs for their children, when ours are here dying in the ocean trying to go to Europe. The external parasite groups are always interested in perpetuating that hemorrhage of resources and development energies from Africa to other places. What is most infuriating, however, are the comprador bourgeoisie, agents of foreign interests in Africa, who do two things. First of all, they oppose our value addition efforts so as to frustrate our industrialization efforts. Secondly, they are always importing everything from outside, including trivialities like dead people's hair. It is these processes that have stunted Africa's growth. It is a scandal if there were people to recognize real scandals. You hear people talking of scandals, but they are talking about small scandals. This is a mega centuries-old scandal, which I don't hear anybody talking about, many people talk. A few years ago, Uganda produced 5 million tons of maize. Uganda consumed only 1 million tons because Ugandans have other foods. It is only institutions and the animal feeds manufacturers that use maize. There was therefore a surplus of 4 million tons, which had no market in East Africa on account of the non-tariff barriers, protectionism. The prices collapsed, and the farmers in Uganda walked away from growing maize. Only now to be told that there is a big demand for maize, and even people are dying. The store of maize is the same as the store of milk, sugar, rice. Some Ugandans wanted me to stop Tanzanian rice. Please, I would not do that. If the Tanzanians are growing rice more cheaply, let them grow it and you buy from them. And if you want, you can apply and you shift and go and ask the Tanzanian government to allow you to do rice in Tanzania. In my opinion, East Africans will be better off if the most efficient East African producers are encouraged so that the whole of the region benefits. Recently, I was told of some attempts to block rice from Tanzania in order to protect the inefficient rice growers of Uganda. I could not accept such blindness. Why? First of all, punish Ugandans to consume expensive rice while Tanzanian brothers can produce cheaper rice. The other blindness is that you should remember that if you block Tanzanian rice, Tanzania will also block something else from Uganda, where then is the future of prosperity for our region. Why block East African products and open our markets for subsidized goods from Europe, China, Brazil, etc.? Those should be the ones to be blocked because they are unfair selling in our market. Foreign government subsidized goods versus our unsubsidized goods. If you allow subsidized Brazilian products to kill the market for Uganda's sugar in East Africa, what return benefit will East Africa get from Brazil? What does Brazil give you in return? East Africa is a potential superpower of the League of India or China. If we integrate economically and politically, assisted fortunately by the Swahili language, which is part of the heritage of this area. If our economics professors wake up and see the hemorrhage the NRM revolutionaries have been seeing ever since the 1960s on account of only producing raw materials, and the political class determines not to build a Latin America in Africa, but instead build a United States of Africa in Africa, a very prosperous and secure future for Africa. The principle of patriotism struck a blow at the politics of identity, sectarianism of religion and tribes, and pushed forward the politics of legitimate interests of the people. That is why, ever since 1989, the NRM always won all elections by absolute majority in both popular votes and the electoral colleges on the first round. We have never had a second round here. And I congratulate His Excellency Ruto for winning on the first round. In the 1962 independence elections, no party could win by absolute majority because they had fragmented the electorate in sectarian groups that could never attract broad support. Guided by our principle of Pan-Africanism, when we won power, we worked with Mzee Hassan Mwinyi, Mzee Benjamin Mkapa, Mzee Daniel Arap Moi, supported by Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, who was still alive at that time, to revive the East African community, which was re-inaugurated on the 30th of November, 1999. Guided by the same principles, we stood with the African brothers in South Africa, Namibia, South Sudan, Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, etc. It is this principle that educates us not to aim at building a Latin America in Africa, but building a United States of Africa in Africa to ensure the prosperity of our people and the strategic security of Africa. Our belief in patriotism and Pan-Africanism enabled us to build a strong national army for the first time since the collapse of the Batrese Empire around the year 1500 AD. This is partly on account of the ideology of anti-sectarianism. We do not look at soldiers with sectarian lenses, but with soldiership and ideological lenses for patriotism. That is how we were able to build an army that could go for so long and anywhere for either no pay or low pay.
First, I bring you greetings from your brothers and sisters in Kenya, both Kenyans and Ugandans and East Africans. They have sent me with greetings on this very important day while you celebrate 60 years of your independence. Congratulations, Your Excellency, Mr. President. Congratulations, the great people of Uganda. And accompanying those greetings is our commitment to our region. Mzee Museveni, as I said, is our elder. We have tremendous respect for him, and we look up to him to now work so that we can eliminate the borders that separate our people in East Africa and in Africa. It is very clear to us that we cannot share poverty and we cannot share hunger, but we can share opportunity and we can share prosperity. It is our place as leaders and as citizens of the East Africa region for us to work together so that we can transform our borders, which today stand out as barriers, and convert them to bridges so that goods, services, and people can move across this East Africa without any impediments. Your Excellency, as our elder, President Museveni, you have the challenge to lead the charge on ensuring that we bring down the boundaries and the borders and the barriers so that we can have a borderless East Africa community. We are looking in our lifetime, in the next few years, that people, goods, and services can move across this East Africa as we lead the way in ensuring that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area becomes a reality. Your Excellency, I did instruct the Minister for Trade in Kenya to work with the Minister of Trade in Uganda so that together we can formulate and sign into the guided trade agreement that will facilitate the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to begin to become a reality, and so that we can harness the opportunities for investment, for trade, and for people to work together in our region. I want to ask our entrepreneurs, our business people, the investor community in our region to take advantage of the infrastructure provided by the EAC and the ACFTA
to transform our region. There is absolutely no reason why food cannot be available in our region. If there is food in Uganda, it should find its way to Kenya. If there is opportunity in Kenya, Ugandans should be able to access that opportunity. I am looking forward, Your Excellency, Mr. President, to you leading us in this region so that we can truly build prosperity and harness opportunity in our region for the mutual benefit of the 300 million people in EAC and the 1.2 billion people in the African continent. Your Excellency, to our business community, today we import 1.2 million tons of fertilizer into East Africa community, while we have the raw material for us to manufacture that fertilizer and save ourselves foreign exchange and create opportunity for jobs while we manufacture fertilizer for our own use in this region. We spend $500 million every year to import clinker for our cement manufacture, for our construction. That too, we have the raw materials in Kenya, in Tanzania, and in Uganda to produce clinker, and we can save $500 million from and wealth being exported from our region. Let me also say that we spend another $500 million every year to import steel for construction into our region. We have the raw materials in Uganda, we have gas in Uganda, we have the opportunity in Kenya, we have the raw materials in our region. Our business people should harness those opportunities, leverage on the friendship that we have as East Africans, and save us the foreign exchange and create jobs for the millions of young people in our region so that we can create wealth, we can share opportunity, and we can share prosperity. Your Excellency, with age and with experience comes responsibility. You have the age, you have the experience. Take the responsibility and lead the charge. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much, and may the good Lord bless you.